Hello, welcome to the channel. This is going to be a army showcase showing all of my Space Marines from 1st edition through to 9th edition. The first task was to find a table that would be big enough to hold all of the models, and I think I've just about achieved it with this one. We shall see, but this is the beginning of the first time that all of my miniatures will be on display at the same time. Okay, next step is to set out the codexes on obviously the Warhammer 40,000 Rogue Trader. There wasn't a codex, but the original rulebook's there, and then it's the 2nd edition, 3rd edition, 4th edition, 5th, 6th and 7th are together, which will become obvious why when I set out the models. 8th edition, 2 codexes, and then up to now 9th edition. So next step is to start adding models to the table. Okay, the first models are on the table. As you can see, they are Rogue Trader era models, and for me they were the 7th company of the Ultramarines originally, but after the 3rd edition codex included a completely painted army of Ultramarines from the Warhammer studio, I thought it was time for a change. So initially they became Eagle Marines. No, forgive me, they became Eagle Warriors, where I painted half of them white, which was very time consuming, tricky, and my skills weren't up to it. And then latterly Eagle Marines, where they follow the Ultramarines doctrines, but they're just easier to paint all blue. So not sure why I ended up with so many chaplains and apothecaries, but that's good for 9th edition. You can see here that some of the original RTB01 Marines are the mainstay of the force. There's some metal miniatures in there as well. This squad has got a heavy bolter. This squad has just about got a multi-melter. Again, multi-melter with that squad. This is a small squad of 8 with the very first Space Marine model and a multi-melter on a tripod, which is pretty unusual. Attached to this company are of course some of the 1st company, and again there's a 1st company captain, 1st company librarian in Terminator armour, and 3 squads of original metal Terminator miniatures. 1st squads with an assault cannon, then a heavy flamer, and then a missile launcher, and then obviously 10th company scouts attached as well. And this company has a Predator and a Dreadnought. There's 2 characters that in my current fluff are attached from 8th company, I guess, which are an apothecary and a tech marine on a bike, and that pretty much rounds out the oldest models in the collection, which are my 7th company of Eagle Marines. Okay, more models on the table. This is the second company, which of course is second edition, and pretty much the second company. 5 squads of tactical marines, 1 squad of assault marines and 1 squad of devastators, but noticed that there's actually 5 heavy weapons there, which is for swapping out when was needed. Command group here has got standard number of chaplains and apothecaries this time. Tactical squads with the weapons, coupled with the missile launcher, a heavy plasma gun with a plasma special weapon. Yeah, nothing more to say about those really. The attached first company, 3 squads of Terminators, standard loadout, with an assault Terminator squad as well, and 2 squads of scouts, 1 with pistols and chainswords, 1 with sniper rifles, all metal models from this era of course. And then also they have Dreadnought, which in the fluff will be the second company's Dreadnought, which hero of that company entombed in his sarcophagus. And then attached, just a couple of metal land speeder models. No tanks or rhinos for these boys, probably because the models were originally purchased at this time to be the rhinos for these models, but they got reappropriated back to the older 7th Company road trade era. So that is the second company, second edition, all present and correct. Okay, more models on the table. This is the third company, which are 3rd edition era. The company is the easy build, clip together models from that era. I believe the first one I got was actually free on the front of White Dwarf way back then, but you can see that there are 2 full squads and a squad of 6, because at this time the metal plastic hybrid Razorbacks came out, which I had a couple. The company also has no command section, partly because there are characters in the attached units, and for this company there is a decent attachment from the 8th Company, which are bikes and attack bikes. There's a captain on a bike, chaplain on a bike, and also the 1st Company attachment is 3 squads of easy build Terminators, 2 squads of which were from the Space Hulk edition that came out at that time. My 3rd squad there was an eBay find, but there was 3 standard squads with the heavy flamer or the easy build. The 2 attached squads from the 10th Company are metal scouts from the period, 6-man squads, one with bolters and heavy bolter, one squad with shotguns and missile launcher. Also there is, borrowed from the 9th Company, a Whirlwind, again of that era, but the 3rd Company's Dreadnought, again metal model, is also part of this strike force. So you can see now that the oldest models are all on display, and yeah, it's taken me some time, but it's the first time that they'll be all seen together. Maybe the first time, maybe the last, but there's certainly plenty of work to do to bring some of these older miniatures back up to a level where I'd be happy to field them on the table and get some games in with them using the 9th edition rules, which is the plan. When that happens, I'll perhaps video it and post it here on my channel. Okay, here we have the 4th Company, which was about the time that I was not playing games. I was pretty much out of the hobby. I still had my White Dwarf subscription. I picked up models every now and again. They stayed in their boxes for quite a while before I got round to them. But what could I say about the 4th Company? So 4th Company is obviously 4th edition, and it does have the command squad. Looks like I had to add in a chaplain at some point, because I think that the rest of the command squad came as a box. It was the first time that company veterans were a thing, so there's a couple of models there that must have been left over, and therefore they've become part of the command squad of the 4th Company. There's just 2 squads of the era, standard flamers and missile launchers, load out 10-man squads, 2 squads of 5 plastic assault marines, just 5-man squads, and then 2 devastator squads, hybrid models, mixture of plastic with the heavy guns apart from the missile launchers. The attachments, just 1st Company, 2 squads of veterans. The front are metal miniatures, the rear are fine cast. I don't think I'll pick up any more fine cast miniatures, they're not for me. And then just a plastic squad of scouts from the 10th Company, which are bolters and heavy bolter load out. So yeah, the 4th Company doesn't add many more miniatures to the overall collection, but here they are assembled on the table. I think that the thing I've spotted when I was putting them out is that there is going to be a problem fielding the 4th Company under the 9th edition codex, because there is only 2 squads of Marines and they are the only troops choices. The Scouts, which would have been the 3rd troop choice for a battalion, are now elites, so I would have to divide the 2 squads into combat squads ahead of the game, and say that there were 3 or 4 independent squads with sergeants from the outset, which is slightly annoying, but I really don't think that I'm going to look out for and purchase new models from this era in order to field a legitimate force in 9th edition. Annoying, but that happens with the rules sometimes. The older models just don't fit into the new codex, and you've got to either have counts as or drop models or add models in order to make a legal army. So that's where we're at so far. The 1st edition, 7th company. 2nd edition, 2nd company. 3rd edition, 3rd company. 4th edition, 4th company. So next it will be the 5th edition, 5th company, that makes it to the table. Okay, we've now got the 5th company set out on the table. As you can see, it is considerably larger than the other companies, and that's because the 5th edition marked the end of my ability to use the battle companies as 6th company and 7th company, 8th and 9th are obviously reserve companies, and my 7th company, which was the 1st edition, is the only reserve company that I wanted to field as I did. And incidentally, that harks back to the Rogue Trader era, when the Ultramarines 7th company was a specialist company, which in the fluff caught my eye. So my Marines were 7th company Ultramarines from the very outset, and also coincidentally their logo of the 7th company of the Ultramarines was a chalice of blood, which must have been the inspiration for Blood Angels at some point. Anyhow, the 5th company is made up of all of the last of the firstborn models, and some of the models in this company are actually ones that were part of the 4th company, but as I began playing in 5th edition, 6th edition, I didn't play so much in 7th edition, but the models I had, I ported over from the 4th company in order to make the 5th company have more options, including the Tech Marine there, and Dreadnoughts, and probably the Land Speeders, probably the Predator. All of these were originally the 4th company, but became attached to the 5th company, as you can see here. Okay, so we have some Primaris Marines on the table. So the original intention here was to lay down the miniatures in accordance with the codexes when they were released when new models, miniatures were added to the range, and do it that way. But rather than do that, I'm going to do the Battle Company, which has the supporting units from reserve companies, 1st Company and 10th Company, in the usual way, except in my fluff, the Eagle Marines, the Primaris aren't integrated with the Firstborn. The master of the chapter, if you like, decided to go slightly against the Codex and Rabouti Guilliman's law, and Primaris are the 11th through 20th companies, so 11th being veterans. And this is the 12th Company, which is a battle company. We've got the command here, Captain Ancient, Chaplain, Apothecary, Librarian, a couple of lieutenants, and I'm going to say lieutenants instead of lieutenants, even though I'm British. It's I don't know why, I just see that the Space Marines, they'll be running around shouting lieutenant. So this battle company, even though it pains me that I'm doing this now, and very shortly it will be the full complement, because the imminent release of heavy intercessors will mean that I will have 3 squads of well, let's say tactical intercessors, and then there'll be 1, maybe 2 assault intercessors, and then a couple of heavy intercessor squads to attach to this battle company. And the battlefield role system has completely altered, and the fluff writers at Games Workshop have I think they've annoyed more than just me, but I'm pretty certain that when I get my heavy intercessors and 2 squads to add to this battle company, they'll be wearing the Devastator squad chevron on their shoulder and not a tactical arrow, because that will satisfy me more. So for now, this is what is in the battle company, and I'll start adding the supporting units. Okay, next onto the table are the 18th Company assets, which some of the newer models as of now. Obviously there's going to be additions to this. The again, I can't remember the names, but the ATV and the equivalent of the Land Speeder will be assets from the 18th Company, which will be used to support the battle company when it needs that extra close support. So this is the collection so far. Okay, added to the table now is 11th Company veterans, and from the Indomitus box set we've got the characters and Blade Guard, which are going to be further added to, as no doubt there'll be new releases that will fit into what I consider the 11th Company of the Eagle Marines. For now, this is mainly the troops, except for 20th company, which because of the models will not fit into that gap. Well, they might do actually. Yeah, let's see how we go, because I've been putting scouts behind the veterans in the other companies, so let's see if they fit. Okay, and I've successfully added the 10th company scouts to the table, just about fitted on there. The Vanguard company, 10th company stroke 20th company, pretty much a force that can act on its own. It's got the command HQ elements and enough squads and choices to make a viable strike force on its own. So Vanguard strike force with other supporting elements, vehicles, etc. I've not yet fielded that in 9th. The 12th company's been doing the fighting so far, but at some point, as I get more games in, the Vanguard units or Vanguard company can field the come to the field and see how well they do. So I think as far as standard troops and units, that is Primaris collection so far. So see what else we have to add to the table. Okay, the last of my Primaris units have been added to the table. So impulsors, there is a command one and then 2 additional ones. A couple of the dreadnoughts and more heavy support from 19th company, tank in particular, although the repulsors might be 2nd company, sorry, 12th company assets, but they've not got any markings on them yet, so I'll decide that later, see what else comes out. So that's everything that is currently in my collection. Okay, one last sweep, just so that I've recorded. Might be a while before I do this again.